Good morning, students. Welcome back to this data structure class. In the last class, we implemented linked queue as a data structure. A complete program was implemented, and I gave you an introduction about list, the next data structure. You can define list as follows. Definition. A list is a homogeneous collection of elements. Homogeneous collection of elements with a linear relationship between them. That is the simple definition of a list. A list is a homogeneous collection of elements with a linear relationship between them. What is the homogeneous means? All the elements should be of same type. All the elements of that list should be of same kind, same category, same type. That is homogeneous collection. Then what is the linear relationship? Okay, the previous element is smaller than the current element, the next element is bigger than the next current element. Like this, some relationship is there between adjacent elements. Okay, so that is a linear relationship. Okay, so that is the definition of a list. A list is a homogeneous collection of elements with a linear relationship between them. Now you recall what we discussed about queue and stack. In the stack also we implemented it as a stack of integer values, stack of float values like that. There also all the elements of the stack are of same type. In the queue also all the elements were of same type. So they are all homogeneous elements. Okay, so you can very well claim that a stack is basically a list. A queue is basically a list. Then how does our ordinary list differ from queue and stack? How does our list differ from queue and stack? In the case of queue, the elements are processed in the first in, first out order. In the case of stack, the last in element is accessed first out. Okay, last in, first out. So there is a way, there is a condition involved in accessing the elements. Middle value cannot be accessed in the case of stack and the queue. A value cannot be inserted in the middle, both in the case of stack and the queue. Okay, those restrictions are removed in the case of list. The definition simply says that it is a homogeneous collection of elements with a linear relationship between them. That means you can add an element in the beginning of the list or in the middle of the list or as a last value, as long as that linear relationship is maintained. Okay. Similarly, you can remove an element of the list from anywhere, from the beginning or from the middle or from the last, anywhere, as long as you don't violate the linear relationship between the elements of the list. That is the definition. So, a list is used to implement a stack, to implement a queue. Just like we had a linear stack and linked stack, linear queue and a linked queue. A list can also be implemented using arrays and pointers. All the benefits and demerits of array are same in the case of list also. All the merits of pointers are also same in the case of list. Okay. So when you use an array to implement a list, the elements of the list will be stored in the element of the list will be stored in the array. Will be stored in the array. Okay. In the case of stack, we had one pointer called top that monitors where is the topmost value, which element can be accessed, like that. In the case of queue also, we had two variables, one is front and rear. They monitor where is the first element of the queue, where is the last element of the queue, which element can be processed, which element, after which element an element can be inserted. These things are monitored by the front and the rear in the case of queue. There is no such variable for list. We have only one variable that tell you the number of elements in the list at any time. For convenience sake, I call that as length. Length is a variable that will tell you currently the number of elements in the list. If 10 elements are there in the list, means then the value of the length is equal to 10. When there is no element in the list, then length is equal to 0. Length is equal to 0. So that is the meaning of length. Since we are using array, I use maybe I use an array by name info to keep the number of elements in the list. Then I need to give the size of the array. Okay, so I may give it as a variable, a constant max item. Okay, with that understanding, we shall try to implement a list. We shall try to implement a list. Okay, here also I will be using a class to implement a list. I will be using a class to implement a list. I call that class as list type. Okay, then I have two private members, length and info. Info is an array of size max item. This max item is defined as a constant. Okay, 10. So info of 10. This current position, I won't be using it very often. Okay. Then various operations that you perform on the list are creating a list, checking whether the list is empty, make the list as empty, checking the fullness of the list, finding whether an element is in the list or not, insert a value into the list, remove a value from the list, then reset the list, then display the contents of that list, retrieve the values from a list. These are all various operations that you can perform on the list data structure. Okay. Just to recall what I told you about this length. Length will always tell you the number of elements in the list at any time. Okay. Then how do you create a list? You know what is the purpose of constructor. A constructor is used to initialize some of the private members, and it gets automatically executed whenever an object for the class is declared. So here in the constructor, I say list type constructor, I say length is equal to 0. By setting length is equal to 0, an empty list is created. So when length is incremented by 1, a value is inserted into the list. When length is incremented further by 1, another value is inserted into the list. When there is no element in the list, then this length is equal to 0. Length is equal to 0. Then, see, you can give such a declaration in the within the class itself. Some simple assignments can be done within the class itself. Okay. Then make empty by setting length is equal to 0. Your list is made empty. Okay. Then what is the next function? I want to know whether my list is full or not. What is the size of the array max item? So when length is equal to max item, I can say my list is full. See, the value of the max item in this declaration is 10. So this info array can hold 10 values. So when length is equal to 10, you can say your list is full. Your list is full. Then what length is function? I want to know the number of elements in the list at any time. Just to return the value of length, because you know that the length is nothing but the number of elements in the list. So just to return the value of length, it will give you the length of the list. Okay. So these are the things. Now coming to this find element. Coming to this finding the find element. Okay. This is a very important function that will be used within the insert item function and the delete item function. Delete item function. Look at this find item element. It is having three formal parameter types. The first one is an integer, then integer reference, integer reference. There are three formal parameter data types. Okay, integer types. Now, what does it mean? Now, this declaration says that look for this value in the given list, and if it is available, this variable will take the index in which this value is available, and this variable will take the previous index, Now, if this variable is not available, okay, for simplicity's sake, let me define it like this: x, y, then I said it is z. What is the meaning of this find element function is, look for the value x in the given list, and if this x is available, y takes the index of the array info in which x is available, and z takes the previous index, that is y minus 1, okay. Then if x is not available in the list, then y takes the value of minus 1, then z takes the index after which this x can be inserted. Again, I tell you, if this x is not available in the given list, then y takes the value of minus 1, then z takes the value of the index after which this x can be inserted. That is the meaning. We will implement it. Okay, look at this function. I give you some examples. Okay, now here is my list. The index values are 0, 1, 2, 3. In the 0th index, I have the value 10. Then 10, 20, 30, 40. These are the values available here. Then what is the length of this list? 1, 2, 3, 4. Length is equal to 4. Okay. Now let me check. I want to find whether 50 is available in the list. 50 is available in the list. I will start my searching from the 0th index. I will check whether 50 is equal to 10. No. So since 10 is less than 50, 50 can be available somewhere after this 10. So 20 is equal to 50? No. 30 is equal to 50? No. 40 is equal to 50? No. Then after that the list is over. There is no more further elements. Okay. So when you start from here, your index is equal to 0. 0. In the 0th index, I don't get the value. In the first index, I don't get the value. Then in the second index, I don't get the value. Then index is incremented by 1. Index becomes 3. In the third index, I don't get the value. Then index becomes 4. Index becomes 4. Okay. There is no value in the fourth index. So index is equal to 4. But value is not available, so my location is equal to -1. But look at this predlock. Look at this predlock. Predlock is equal to the index after which the value of 50 can be inserted. See the index 3. In the index 3 is having the value 4. After this index 3, maybe in the index 4, I can insert the value 50. I can insert the value 50. So this find element procedure will use three parameters. The first parameter is key, the second parameter is location, the third parameter is predlock. Look at this. This location and predlock are reference formal parameters. That means at the end of this find element function, the value of the location is given back to the corresponding actual parameter. The value of this predlock is given back to the actual parameter. Okay. Now, with this understanding, let us see. I want to check whether 50, key is equal to 50, let us take, is available in the list or not. Is available in the list or not. So what I will do here, I start my search from here. Okay, index is equal to 0 initially, so it is not available. Index becomes 1, it is not available. Index becomes 2, it is not available. Index becomes 3, it is not available. Then index is incremental 4. So index is equal to 4. The values location is equal to -1 only. Then predlock is equal to 3. So when you try to find an element, there are three cases. You start from the first 0th index. When you keep searching, your index value might become greater than the length. Index value will become greater than the length. So the element is not found. Then the second case is index is less than or equal to length, and the key value in the particular index is the value in the index is equal to key value. The value in the index is equal to key value. Rather, I can say it is info of index. Info of index. Info is the array. Info of index is equal to key value. So in this case, the value is found out in a particular index. The third case is index is less than length of the list. Index is less than the length of the list, but the key value is the info of index is not equal to key value. Now let us take these three cases, examples. This is what the first example. When I try to find 50, I start my search from the 0th index. It is not available. When you keep on incrementing, my index becomes greater than the length. Index becomes greater than the length. Length is equal to 4. This is the first case. Index becomes greater than length. Then second case is index is less than or equal to length, and info of index is equal to key value. What is this case? Look at this case. I want to find 30. I start my search from 0. Okay. In the 0th index, do I have 10? No. 10 is less than 30. So I have to search further. Then my index becomes 1. It is 20. Does 20 is equal to 30? No. Then I increment to 2. Index becomes 2. In the second index, I have the value 30. This 30 is equal to the 30 I am searching for. So my index is equal to 2. My location is equal to, I found out my location. The key value 30 is found out in the location 2. Then my predlock is equal to 1. Predlock is equal to 1 because the 30 is available somewhere after the predlock. Somewhere after the predlock. Okay. Then the next case is index is less than length and the key value is not, the info of index is not matching with the key value. Now you take this case, I want to find 25. I want to find 25. I told you that these the list elements are in a linear relationship, that is they are all in the sorted order. Now I check for 25 in the 0th index, it is 10, it is not. So 10 is less than 25, so 25 can be available somewhere after that. I increment my index, index becomes 1. In the first index, I have the value 20, but 20 is less than 25. No, it is not matching. Then I increase my index, index becomes 2. But here I see the value in the second index is 30. The value in the second index is 30, but 30 is bigger than 25. So this 25 cannot be found anywhere after this 30. So 25, if at all 25 is there, it should have been available between this 20 and 30, but that is missing here. So you can say that your index is equal to 2, location is equal to -1, and your predlock is equal to 1. Predlock is equal to 1. That's what I said in the beginning. So if at all you want to insert 25, you can insert this 25 after the index 1, after the index 1. So even this 30 and 40 are pushed one index down, in the empty index I can insert 25. So how to find this empty index? This is given by this predlock. Predlock is having the value of this 1. So after this predlock, you can insert this 25. So figuratively explain the working mechanism of this find element. We will implement this find element in the form of a function in the coming class. Okay. So come prepared well for tomorrow's class. You go through all these things. Okay. Well.